exciting. Looking forward to discussing it with these two blokes over here, Mike and Mike. Hey, that's a good name, Mike and Mike. There used to be a show like that.
Yeah, we should copyright that.
We're getting sued for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, they don't even like each other anymore, so maybe they'll let us use it.
Well, yeah. Well, you guys like each other. I don't like Mike. It's
Yeah.
it's tough staying with him for
It
4
won't
days.
last, but-
Guys, let us know if you can hear us and see us okay. We just want to make sure everything's coming through okay for you. Huge shout out to our sponsors, Fort Worth Billiards title sponsor. You can look around the outside, see all the different sponsors that helped us get here. We're posted up in the media room here at Mosconi Cup. We got day 3 coming live in about 35 minutes on DAZN. It's a huge day. There's going to be, 6 matches?
6 today. Yeah.
6 matches.
Possibly 7 tomorrow.
Yeah. So today's going to determine a lot, I think. But before we jump into the day, let's talk a little bit about yesterday. What was your big takeaway from yesterday, Pinozo?
My big takeaway from yesterday was Skyler being, the leader that Skyler is. I mean, the U.S. lost the first 3 matches. All 3 matches, they were 3-3 with the break and couldn't get across the line. So it was very disappointing. And then Skyler came in with all that pressure on him to not go 4-0 for the day, and came through clutch. That was my favorite part of the day.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, but it started off with Earl. Big missed opportunities were the storyline for me, boys. Yeah. To go up 3-0 against Jason and breaking the balls. Big opportunity for momentum shifting. Well, I don't want to say shifting, but because you never feel the Europeans are out of it. But boy, did they lost an opportunity there with Earl letting that one get away from him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Day 1, the story was USA, right? The fans were going crazy. In fact, we were wondering, because we had heard there were quite a few European fans here, but you couldn't hear them on day 1.
No.
They were completely drowned out by the USA fans. Day 2, completely different story. Very loud for the European fans. USA, not a whole lot of noise, actually, until the Sky match. In fact, it was dead. I remember looking around and being like, man, the air's out of this place for
through
the
3
US.
games of Earl and Jason. I mean,
after those
it was vibrating out here in the media room. I mean, it was just you could feel it throughout the entire place. But then once it
From
shifted,
that moment.
I mean, the wheels came off, boys, and in the worst way possible.
I would say the best explanation would be it was just a panicked or a concerned U.S. contingent, right? The fans were just concerned that this was going the wrong way and going the wrong way quick, right? Europe was playing well. U.S. wasn't playing bad, but I think one of the big key takeaways was safety battles, right? And
Yeah.
Pinozo, you said this on day 1. It seems like Europe tends to win the safety battles. And I think yesterday they were getting to the shot first. And that was a key difference when you get to 3-3 in a match and they can execute a few safeties and the U.S. is kicking and selling out a couple kicks. Well, that was a big difference maker.
Yeah, when you get to that 3-3, especially if you're breaking at 3-3, your mindset is you've got to win your 2 breaks. And if you get
when you're at 3 and you're going from the 7 to the 8 ball and you miss the 8, that's going to be a bigger difference than a safety battle for me. I mean,
it is, but there were more to me safety battles than there were blatantly missed, poorly missed shots. And the Americans were playing, good saves, but not perfect. And they, leaking out here a little bit, leaking out there a little bit. And you watch a lot of those European players, to me at least, the U.S. guys were having to really put some magic into their kicks to get out of some of these saves.
I remember like a 1 ball tough, maybe it was like a 6 ball with Shane against Josh going down the rail that he overcut by not the biggest of lines, but decent enough. I remember an 8 ball missed by Earl early on.
Oh,
Shane
I remember a 7 ball by Tyler and Oscar and that.
They
And those
they each missed shots,
but it was
to the game.
Key parts. That's the biggest thing, because you had opportunities to take control of each match, right? And it was the complete opposite of what happened day 1, where U.S. was clutch in tough spots. And don't get me wrong, they had moments in spurts where each one of those players played great, but they did not close. Correct. And the Europeans are a bunch of closers. And listen, the biggest thing for me watching number 1 was how they got Jason going, and then it followed up with Earl. I mean, not Earl, with Josh, because Jason through 3 games looked completely deflated. He
hasn't looked good yet. Really.
Yeah. Well, but he got his mojo back once Earl gave him a window to walk through. Yeah, I mean, even you can get out from a 4-ball run out, Mike.
On that table?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think if you think about the U.S., I think they have to feel pretty good about themselves right now because they're not playing bad. They're really not. There's nobody up there that you can say is dogging it by any stretch. I think everybody looks pretty comfortable. The only question mark would be Earl kind of keeping it together through a full match and getting there. But those first three games
You
yesterday, I mean,
you
this
say only question mark, but by the way, the guy's playing
Three
three out
times
of the
today.
first four times today. That's a
well,
pretty big question
let's
mark
talk
when
about that.
when it's
That's gonna
4-4,
be that's
boys.
gonna be a big thing.
Let's jump into that. Like, I mean, I wish Jeremy's here right now. I'd love to get inside his head because that's when as soon as I heard that from you this morning, Mike, on the bed next to me, I remember thinking,
It's getting
why?
awkward.
That's a little awkward.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
why is Earl coming up so often, so early for the United States when day one and day two he hasn't had a lot of success? Can you propose an idea for that?
I think it's a matter of just getting it over with, ripping off the band-aid. They're gonna send him out, get
While
all.
the score is still relatively close.
I mean, just get it over with. Let's get the Earl show out of the way, and then we can focus on the guys who have been playing well on the back end. Hopefully, you still won. You like Tyler number two. I mean, you don't love Tyler number two, but the way he's been playing, you like your chances to get
Sure.
a really good shot at winning that point, especially because David's looked shaky at times. So I think you're hoping for a split out of those first two. But I tell you, it's got the chance to really look bad. And I mean, we interviewed Emily, and this is why we were late. We had Emily on that we're going to be posting a video of here shortly. But
Great interview.
it was a great interview. But it could be a bloodbath through the first four. I mean, it really could. It's got
Such a
that kind of
pessimist.
potential. No, I'm just
Well, again, I keep coming back to the same thing of, it's 4-4, and you're saying the U.S. probably feels pretty good about where they're at right now, but we still need to get points from the guys that you don't expect to get a lot of points from, right? You need to get a point from Earl. You need to get a couple of points from Oscar. You need to get a couple of points from Tyler. You can't rely on Sky to, he's not going to play enough times to get you to 11.
well, not just that, but if the Earl show happens and it comes up short, then it puts pressure on Sky. Now we know he can come clutch. We saw it at the end of yesterday in his great match against Ruiz. Starts off down 2-0, makes a great comeback, really got the crowd livened up. I wish they would have played that doubles match last night. Because this place was back alive, boys, after they got punched in the stomach.
Yeah, I think that actually is a problem for the United States. They had the momentum when Sky got back into that match. The place was rocking, and the fact that they had to postpone that match till today, you don't know how it's going to be, right? From in playing pool, one day you could play great, the very next day, same conditions, same breakfast, same 700 sit-ups, and you're just not playing the same. It's just the way it goes sometimes. So, I'm a little skeptical about this lineup. Obviously we're gonna have Jeremy on.
That's a
later
lot coming
today.
from you, Joey, because you
Yeah,
love everything.
well,
I mean, you've
I'm
never,
pretty soft.
you've never said a
we've
bad word
established this.
about anything in your life.
I think, I guess you're right about pulling off the Band-Aid. Let's get Earl out of the way. Let's
Why
get
not?
these matches
Right.
done. And by the
Well,
way,
Mike, how else would you guys say? Like,
Well,
how
hold
else
on.
can you justify it though?
well,
is what I'm
the
saying.
only other way is you have him in this doubles match, and it's like, let's get him in a rhythm, right? He's going to play the doubles match, watch the Tyler match, then he's up again, then he's up again. And so maybe JJ thinks this is the best chance to get Earl going is have him play back to back or 3 out of 4.
It's a risky call because
Ballsy.
In the match against Jason, he got down on himself.
That's the thing.
And in the doubles match on the first day, he got down on himself, and it's hard to turn that around in the middle of a match or when you're playing the next match. And if Earl keeps telling himself, "I'm dogging it, I don't belong here," that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big problem for 3 matches, and Europe will feed off that like there's no tomorrow.
One key factor could be Tyler Steyer playing match 2 today. I mean, Tyler he's looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
And so maybe JJ has a lot of confidence in that match, and he's thinking that Tyler's going to get a point there.
He had to play.
Well, that's what I meant.
Play Tyler, Oscar, and Earl in singles today.
You're hoping to steal one from
Right.
Earl, and you're hoping that Tyler comes and does what he's been doing this entire. Like if through 4 it's 2-2, you're loving it if you're JJ.
Yeah.
Right. I think anything else is just jelly, but that's what realistically what you're going for. I mean, they're gonna say all the right things. They're gonna say, we hope to win them all, but realistically, they're up against it. And I mean, listen, Earl has had spots in this event where he looked, decent, if not great. Through the first 3, he was very poised. And when I say 3, the first 3 games yesterday with Jason, he looked very poised. Everything was under control. But when it didn't work, I mean, it didn't work like that, and it just snowballed. You know, the train completely came off the tracks, and more importantly, because of him starting the day, it really set the tone for the rest of the Americans. Like the life got sucked out of them. You know, we're here, we're watching these guys, we're seeing their body language, you know, off camera. And, you know, Shane was out there instead of hitting balls, getting ready for match number 2 yesterday. He's sitting out there ready to give an Earl, you know, a pat on the back and tell him, hey, keep it going, keep your chin up. When for me, he should have been out there practicing, you know, outside of the arena. So
Yeah, but I thought Shane played pretty well. He missed that one. I think it was a 6 ball. He missed it by a lot, several inches. But otherwise, I thought he played pretty well. It's just one of those matches where Josh pulled it out in the end. You know, Josh played phenomenal. Josh
what
speared
Josh
the
is
ball.
Josh, and he's had his
Josh
number.
speared a ball in. I don't know if you remember.
Oh God, that force follow with inside coming
Unbelievable.
around, coming around 2 rails.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. I guess you do remember.
it was
He dreamt about
the
it
whole.
last night.
Listen, let me tell you, when Shane's playing a match, this is the craziest thing. There are spots in this room as loud as it can get where it gets dead quiet.
Yeah.
I mean, dead quiet.
In
It is,
an instant.
yeah.
You know,
I mean,
like
where you can't hear, everyone's literally holding their breath, you know, and I think it's happened since I've been out there maybe like 3 times, but it's incredible. People respect the game as much as the American fans love to give it to Josh. And, you know, he kind of does it to himself with the way, you know, him and Jason, you know, egg him on. I think that they also give him respect when it comes to great shots. And Josh came with a big one yesterday against Shane.
You know, that's one of those balls. He's up against the rail, and it's a 9-foot shot that the object balls
It'll put some hair in the
towards the
chest.
middle. Oh yeah, yeah. And I remember like looking at that, and I'm like, this is a ball he's gonna miss, but he just doesn't miss. It's unbelievable. And then I got you sitting next to me, Molina, guy from the USA, clapping when Josh makes the shot. I understand you
Give
appreciate
respect where it's
Coach
You
due.
Zuma.
love great pool.
Yeah,
If
I
you
love
see
great pool.
You love great pool.
Yeah.
I was sitting next to
All the American fans turn around and are like, I
not
knew I
even
hated
the
Molina
American fan.
Mike.
So we're in the back, and I'm standing next to Desiree, Oscar's wife, and it's during the doubles match, and it's Oscar and Tyler against Josh, and I think it was Albin, right? And we're just standing there, we're just watching the match, and you know, she's nervous, I'm nervous. Oscar's a good friend of mine, and I'm just there, and I'm just like, and I'm just I'm not
You
even
were
thinking
singing it,
I'm
don't
not
lie.
even thinking about it. And then she's like, "What are you doing?"
Joshua
And I'm like,
Filler.
"What?" She's like, "Don't be singing that filler song around me." And I'm like, "I didn't even realize I'm doing it." But that's the kind of environment that you're in. You're getting sucked in.
catchy.
It's emotional, you know.
Yeah, it's
But I
catchy.
don't like the fact that they've got music pumped in for a Europe cheer. You know, they're like they actually have a lead-in song to get the European fans chanting. You know, make them work on it their own.
Well, they
know,
don't miss
no
a beat, and
favoritism.
they're pretty creative, and it
I
really
like
gets
it.
it really gets it
It
electric
brings
in
the
place.
back and forth. You know, I like it. I like it
I
quite a
thought
bit.
the U.S. response to Joshua Filler chant.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. No, the
Yeah.
American fans are great. I got a video of that somewhere. But it's been, I think all things considered, Sky really stopped the bleeding for me, you know, in a very tough spot, especially being down 2-0. And that's been, you know, the rock for Team USA. That's the guy they really know they can count on. Sky can put that whole team on his back. Now, unfortunately, he's limited as to what he's able to, how many times he's able to play. But how tough as nails is that kid,
An
man?
absolute stud. Skylar Woodward is a stud. No doubt about it. If you were watching that match yesterday, if you're in this arena and to see what he pulled off under that type of pressure, it's funny because he was stopping and getting the fans involved even before the 9 ball on that one rack, right? But he lines up on the 8 ball and he's like, come on. And then he gets on the 9 ball and this place just exploded. I've never heard such an ovation. It was unbelievable. Standing ovation when he shoots the 9 ball. Like, unbelievable.
No doubt
Yeah.
about it.
I mean, I've never seen anything like it before. I've never been to any kind of pool event where it comes even close. Yeah, I'm looking forward to what the day is going to bring. You know, him with Earl, as much as Earl's a liability, and he is, I love the fact that he's playing with Sky because, you know, Sky's dependable and you know what you're going to get. He can keep Earl in decent shape, I feel like. That, and I think Earl can depend on him because he's been watching him and been giving Sky that pat on the back in between racks and you know, keep your chin up and keep on going, kind of rah. But Sky can't play every game.
Yeah.
Tyler can't play. Tyler can't play every game, right?
The Sky's doing what you expected him to do, which is give you X number of points. And
Right.
I keep coming back to points, and I apologize if it's getting annoying, but that's it's when you look at the matchups and the lineups, that's what you have to keep looking at is where are we getting these points, and you know what you're going to get from Sky. you're going to get MVP level points from him, 4, 5, 6, whatever point. But you still got to get to 11. And so you look at the rest of the guys in this lineup, and Tyler's, they're going to depend on Tyler today. I mean, they need him to win that match, that singles match.
He's been breaking better than anyone. His TPA has been better than anyone. Shout out to Mike Salmon, who's been providing us with these stats after each day. You like Tyler, but it at times I can still be a little not worried but leery. Just I think about that 7-ball or 6-ball, whatever it was in the side that he missed.
Yeah.
But I tell you, when we interviewed him yesterday, his mindset was great.
Yeah.
It was already over with.
On to the next one.
On to the next one. He is yeah. That's the thing, Mike. That's the nail on the head right there. He's so mentally tough. I think he embraces being more of a leader, and I think he's earning that respect from everyone, not just his teammates, but the fans and everything, just because of how he's playing. I mean, he's been amazing.
Yeah, and he missed that shot, but Oscar didn't leave him great on that ball either. I mean, Oscar would have much rather given him a better shot on that. It's pretty tight cut on the in the side pocket. And
but even Tyler said he thought he wasn't even worried about the ball going down.
When we interviewed him, is that, and everybody who's played pool has done this before, his eyes didn't even watch the
They're looking at the cue ball.
He was tracking the cue ball to make sure it went where it was going to go. And I can think back to probably 18,000 shots that I've missed like that, where I'm watching the cue ball afterward.
Yeah. And then you stand up and you're like, what? That ball didn't go?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So, but I'm happy with the way Tyler's playing. I'm happy with his mindset. I think he's got a really good chance in that second match, but it is not a gimme.
No, there's no gimme.
David is
anybody.
No,
there's not.
And
it's interesting. Sanchez Ruiz is not in today at all, right? He got the day off.
Is he?
There's some comments in here I want to address real quick while you're looking that up, Mike. Somebody said about the double bank in Sky's match that if he doesn't make that, then FSR wins the match. Guys, there's rolls both sides, right? We've seen it,
and that would have made it 3-0.
Yeah, Josh.
As we saw yesterday, you can win from 3-0 behind. So.
Josh on day one, I made a joke, hit a bank that comboed the 9-ball into 17 other balls. I said, and it went in. And then he it's almost one of these pool players normally embarrassed when something like that happens, and he was like,
"Yeah." We got Ruiz in filler number 3, Mike.
Okay, so Ruiz is playing today.
Yeah,
because he's looked good, but he's made some critical. His TPA is not high. He's coming off from a match where his last 2 shots were, a bad safe, hooking himself and missing a jump shot, and then breaking dry.
That was it. The jump shot, I think it was his last shot, if I'm not mistaken. And then he broke the final rack, but that was it. Yeah, and then Sky runs out, going rail first.
On that for a while. So.
I like that if I'm rooting for Team USA.
Right.
He's been stewing, right? They're all professional, and having Josh as the guy who's going to be sitting next to you is how much more confident can you be, right? Because Josh has played.
You can leave him anywhere.
Josh has played amazing. We just talked about that force follow shot, right? That was just epic.
Unreal.
That's the stuff MVPs are made of. I tell you what, I like Tyler a lot more if Shane and Earl can get that point today and give him a 5-4 lead as opposed to a 5-4 deficit going into facing David. And David, we talked about how shaky he's looked at times, but he's a veteran here.
Oh yeah.
He's been in this spot plenty of times. I don't think he's worried about Tyler, even though I think he gives him respect like he does at all these guys. The craziest thing for me is just the level of competitiveness. And there's a lot of things that have been going on off camera, behind the scenes. We got a little taste of that when we interviewed Emily on that video we'll be posting later. But it's like they're doing, it's the Mosconi Cup, so it's a TV show, right? But these guys wanting to win, it's unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
We were at dinner yesterday with Tyler, and he was like, "I'm not even looking any of those guys in the face."
That's right.
That's the kind of intensity. That's the kind of intensity the coaches, all the little nitpicking they're doing. Trying to get a little edge here, a little edge there. Which, by the way, we're gonna have Laley on today. He messaged me this morning. He said, "I'm coming on." I'm thinking he watched that Tyler interview, and we're gonna get a response. And depending on how the day goes,
back and say, we're a little busy today.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know, Team Europe did not want to come to interview at the end of yesterday, which was interesting because they had won the day.
They won 3-1. Yeah, they won 3-1.
So we kind of expected them to want to come and talk about it, but instead we ended up having JJ and Tyler. Also, I do want to point out that we're going live each night from Griff's, but last night we couldn't do that. Griff's, one of our sponsors. We got over there. What do you say, Mike? 350, 400 people in there?
Wow.
Unbelievable.
I mean, it was just packed. Because Telfer had set up this Mosconi Cup for fans. It was pretty cool. So all the fans that came in from Europe and all the fans that
Oh,
came,
right,
yeah,
the fans match was last night.
yeah.
64 players. And Telfer said he had to turn away like 30 or 40 more. They're yelling at him, calling him names. It's crazy.
I was one of them calling them names.
Wait.
Yeah,
Everybody yells at him and calls him names.
yeah. It's not, he's used to it.
No,
No, but it was
lot
a
of
great
fun.
environment, though.
Yeah, but we're going to go over there tonight. I think we're going to interview the other Jeremy Jones from OBQs if we get a chance tonight. So I just wanted to.
It's going to be
kind of give
hectic,
that
though,
shout
boys,
out.
because we got 6 matches, I think, today.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy
6
day.
matches today for sure, which is good because no one can win today, no matter what.
Right.
So even if you run the table, you're only at 10. So
give me a score of the day then.
Score today, 4-2 Europe.
Joey?
Do you want an objective opinion or a homer stance?
Objective.
If I know Joey Ryan, he's gonna say, well, it'll probably be around 3-3.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
3-3.
Do I know my man or do I know my man?
No, I'm gonna go 3-3.
How heavy you going
Cup.
pro Europe?
I'm hoping for 3-3. Doesn't that make Saturday just an incredible day?
Oh yeah, it'd be crazy.
Maybe a 12-hour day, but an incredible day. Can't have dead air, Mike. It's a podcast. Let's go.
You're going 5-1, aren't you?
I'm going 5-1.
Europe.
Same dude size.
I'm going 5-1 Europe, man. I think it's and I hope I'm wrong because this is my first time here. I want to see it competitive, especially going into the last day, right? That, no matter where I'm betting on or how much banter we go and have, the drama, whatever, I want to see it competitive. Truly, I do. But this is a gamble of a lineup by Jeremy. This is the kind of stuff where either you look great or boy, does it look bad, and I mean real bad, because there's a decent shot that says they're going to lose the first 4. There's a possibility they can lose 4 straight. Now you're down 8-4 going into Shane playing with Sky.
That would be devastating.
But you got Filler and Shaw on the other side.
Yeah.
Like that can be tough.
That's going to be
that was no accident either. I mean, you look at putting those doubles teams together. I mean, those coaches knew where people were going to be sitting.
Dude, when I'm coming over here, I'm thinking like these guys know where they're placing guys at. Like they do not want anyone to know their moves. Like they're playing poker and they're keeping their cards real close to the vest. Well, Jeremy and Alex are.
Emily talked about the competitiveness of like, okay, they're arguing about when they're going to turn in their lineups because they don't want the other person either.
Right.
But in the meantime, you can tell by the way the lineups are stacked up. They knew where the other guy was going anyways.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you got an idea, right? But you never know. Yeah, but
it's coincidence that all of a sudden it's Josh and Shane on the first day, and a coincidence that it's Shane and Sky against Josh and Jason. I mean, they know where these people are going to land based on the requirements of the setting of the matches and parts of the day.
I love Alex's choice yesterday to play Josh back to back. Right, keep him momentum. Right here at the end of the day, or at the beginning of the day, you got LKD back to back. At the end of the day, you got Jason back to back. The only back to back that I've really seen, I think, we have Earl back to back. Earl, while he's had Josh, he's going on David to start the day, and then you got Jason to close it out. Let me tell you, I mean, I love watching baseball, as does Mike. Right, I like if that's your closer, sign me up. A guy who's been clutch in MVP, and I think he'll be sitting in a real good spot to be smelling blood and ready to go and step on their throat.
Hey, guys, thanks so much for the support. We got about 300 people across the platforms. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and share. We're probably going to be live for another 5 or 10 more minutes. And don't think for 1 minute we don't see your comments. Mark White's comment, I don't know if you saw that, but and Shorty Dancer's like great impression.
Hold on a second, Joey. You're the one who's always showing comments over here. This is the one I want to show, buddy.
Come on, Mark White. He's our buddy, and he's gonna blow me up like this. But Mark White's a typical European homer as well. He was predicting. He was probably predicting Europe would already won by now.
We got into a little heated argument ourselves, Joey, me and you.
Yeah, we did. That was fun, actually.
Yeah.
Penozo, you weren't there for that.
I missed it.
You want to debate it right now? Let's talk about it. So we're in the car yesterday, and I said, what if, so obviously the Earl pick is good for TV.
And see, this is before he realized there's 4
I didn't even know
3
this.
Earls, right? Obviously.
But I said the Earl pick is good for TV, right? It brought a lot of excitement to the event. But if Earl doesn't get 1 point for the United States, not 1 point at all, I mean, it's got to be a mistaken pick. It's got to be a bad pick.
I disagree.
Why?
I disagree
I disagree
because
too.
every year there's going to be someone who gets 0 or 1 points
Right.
for the losing team, and we've had it before in Team USA with guys who were, you know, solid picks, right? That you wouldn't have argued with. So the other side of it is
Let
there
me stop
someone
you real
else? If
quick.
there's anyone, is there anyone else on that list from before that you had said, I guarantee he would have gotten me a point?
Well, there are players that were on that list that had been playing in the matchroom environments, right?
Like,
Had put in work. Okay. Earl didn't do that this year. He played in basically the international, which was supposed to count for next year, and he was chosen. So my point is, there were people who were probably in better form than Earl that may have gotten us a point. The point isn't that we could have had another great player who wouldn't have gotten a point. I get that. Like, we might have Tyler might not get a point in this event and he's playing great. I get that. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is you chose Earl in a period of time where he's not out there competing, playing in a lot of events. And if he doesn't score a point, I think it's a mistaken pick.
I mean, it's listen. You're not going out on a limb saying, "Well, if the guy gives me 0, he may not be cut out for it." You know, it's not breaking news for me. But like, this is what I said yesterday: is that if you're up 3-0 on Jason, you got to like your chances, and that's what I'm going to go with. And on top of that, I love what else Earl brings to the table. You know, I like keeping Jason distracted and focused on trying to beat Earl and be the showboat or whatever it is you want to go and say about all the distractions and the press conference and all those things. You ain't gonna get that from Shane Wolford. You ain't gonna get that from De Leon. You ain't gonna get that
Right.
from Josh Roberts. You ain't gonna get that from any of them. And on top of that, you don't know how they're gonna do in there.
Right.
You don't know how they're gonna. They may have gone and gotten you no points, right? So because we don't have anything to go and say, hey, I know I can depend on that guy, like I can at Sky or whatever. Even Tyler coming into this event were a lot of question marks. Now it's easy now to say that, oh, he's playing phenomenal and all these things, and he is. Right, but there were a lot of questions about that pick as well. And people forget,
And part of
I
the
think
rationalization for his pick was he's been in this arena before.
Who's that, Earl?
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
no,
of course.
Tyler.
Oh, Tyler. Yeah.
And so you can say the same thing about Earl. It's been a
Right.
while, but he's been in plenty of these Mosconi Cups. He knows what the atmosphere is like, not to this size crowd, but he knows what the atmosphere is like. He knows what the intensity is
Right.
like. He knows how the teams get at each other. He was ready to play in this event. He, dogged a few shots and got in his head, and he hasn't been straight since. But
I mean, it's just
Look,
it's
I've
so
done a
it's so it's so
180.
mental though with him, man, because he's looked really solid at the times.
In the build up to this event, I took a completely different stance. I thought Earl was going to play well. I liked the pick. I thought he was the best of all the players that we had out there to choose from. But now, with what's going on in this event so far, it just seems like he's not quite ready to play. It seems like he's good enough right now at this stage in his career to get the 3 or 4 and kind of be in a position to win and not be able to seize the opportunity.
Yeah, but how many times have we said that about Tyler? Like, he's good enough to get you to 3 to 4, but he can't cross the finish line, right? And I mean, I get it. Tyler is a lot younger than Earl is, right? I just, for my money, Earl has broken the balls better than a lot of these guys out here. I'll
Not
say that
Tyler.
because not Tyler, but he's broken the balls pretty decently and making that one on the side.
Yeah.
I think he brings a world of experience. I don't think it's any of those guys get to him per se. I think it's a matter of Earl getting to Earl. Earl will sink himself. That's the tough part because we're all in the crowd, right? When Earl's down on the ball, what is everybody saying to him? Come on, Earl. You got it, Earl. You can do it, Earl, right? In between racks, whether he wins or loses, who's going out there and picking up his chin, right? Shane, Jeremy, right? So everyone's trying to pick him up. Earl can use the excuse that, oh, they're all out to get me and everyone wants to see me fail and everybody thinks I'm just a circus. Bullshit. Because everyone in that arena has been in there trying to lift that guy's spirits. And even then, he's slamming his cue on the ground, head down, sucking the life out of that room to start off the day. And he had such an opportunity to really make the place come, just blow the roof off of here. Had he beat Jason, if he makes that 8-ball,
that would have been sick.
it would have been epic. And then
Yeah.
you got Shane right behind you with all the momentum in the world. You're up 4-1, right?
If ifs and buts were candy and nuts, what a Merry Christmas. It
Well,
would
that's
be.
like you saying now, if he doesn't get me a point, was he good for the team? right? But going into it, you were like, well, he's Earl Strickland.
Well, I'll tell
of
you one
course.
thing I
He's
will
the most
say.
decorated guy on earth.
I tell you one thing I will say. He has been good from a team chemistry standpoint, it appears. He's been running out there cheering on his team. I expected completely
He
different.
must be watching a different event then.
I expected that if he lost a match, we wouldn't see much of him out in the arena. And it's been completely opposite of that. He's been one of the biggest cheerleaders for Skyler and other players. He's been involved. And I love seeing that. And I can guarantee you this. If he takes 2 out of 3 today, he's playing 3.
Are you going to be saying the same thing?
If he
Brett?
takes 2 out of 3 today,
No, because then he got the points.
He's going to be
okay.
He's going to be sitting in this chair this afternoon, and we're going to be talking to Earl Strickland.
Which means we'll be on for about 3 hours.
Are you gonna get a Earl?
We're going to do our best.
So that means you're gonna say, "Hey, Mike, go get Earl."
Yeah.
Is that what
we're
I'm
going to ask him the tough questions?
What's the tough question? Give me something, yo.
I think with Earl, it's like, hey, you having fun? And then he'll monologue.
For 42 minutes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how I
did
want
700 sit-ups. I wish Team USA be in the gym earlier.
Listen, I'm being more of a realist, I feel like, and I try to be fair to both sides of it. I call it like I see it. If he plays great and he has at times, that's great. You know, I don't want to see the guy go and fail. I would love to see Earl win all 3 matches and see what Europe's really made of.
Oh,
They didn't even want to come in here and interview with us after they lose 1 out of 4 yesterday. If they lose 3 out of 4 to Earl Strickland, I want to see what those boys are really made of, because I don't think they face a lot of adversity. I think they thought they were stealing, and if they get punched in the throat, which they can, I mean, it's going to be tough. But if they do get punched in the mouth, you're going to find out how tough those Europeans really are.
I just want to see Earl. You know, someone made a comment. He used to bring a level of intimidation, and you know, in those first 3 racks against Jason, it looked like the Earl of old, and he could intimidate.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so for him to get down on himself, to me, is really problematic and disappointing as a fan of Earl, because you want him to be defiant and intimidating, whatever. Even if he misses a shot,
right?
You know, no hanging your head, no saying I dogged it, no saying I don't belong here. You gotta, your team needs you to be that intimidating guy, which is really the reason that you were on the team. Because you had
intangibles,
experience.
Mike.
It's all that stuff that,
that
you're Earl frickin' Strickland. All right. So that's what I want to see.
And shoot your liver out.
Boys, I'm looking at my watch.
Looks
like we got about 3 or 4 minutes, and the action's going to kick off. Check it out on DAZN.
Big day.
I think they've addressed all the technical issues. We talked to Emily this morning, and we're going to be posting that interview shortly. Big day today. We're going to be back here in a few hours, actually several hours, to recap the day and have some interviews for you. Long day. Go USA. See you guys.